Hello, my lovely friends. It's been 2 weeks since I have been at all involved with social media or any kind of outward connection, actually, that has to do with emails or connecting virtually in any capacity. Honestly, I've been feeling the word tenderized and wounded. So on June 30th, I ended my year-long virtual Radiance Yoga and Lifestyle membership. And that was because I was depleted. I was done. I was empty. And I was incredibly sad. I've been teaching for 20 years. And I have to say that, over the span of such a long time of teaching, or I would say probably doing anything that you're fully invested in, and there's a real purposeful, meaningful, heartful, soulful intention embedded in. When the human connection is taken away, that personal, intimate component, at least for me, because these are things I value, I reached a level of sadness and disconnection that was unique. And I definitely have been challenged with mental health um, issues throughout most of my life. But this was different. It was subtle. It was so tender. It was so foundational. And it was such a great loss. So what I totally realize is that I'm still really grieving the loss that happened when my yoga closed at the beginning of COVID. There weren't proper goodbyes. There wasn't a proper ending. And here yet again, as I close off my Radiance membership, there wasn't a proper goodbye. And what I mean by that is coming together. It was like being at a funeral of sorts. And I've just shut down after that. I'm presently away staying with a friend in Ottawa who he just makes me feel really safe and comforted and seen and understood. So it feels really good to just be in a different place. But I find I'm just so exhausted right now. And it's emotional exhaustion. So I'm giving myself the space right now to just be. I had all these intentions of, doing all this work while I was here because that's how I roll. I just moving on. And all I want to do is sleep. I think the last 2 nights I've had at least 10 hour sleeps. And today I was going to do a bunch of work. And I've answered like 5 emails. And then I was called to do a video and talk about different waves of depression. And some are so obvious. We feel it immediately. We don't want to get out of bed. Showering is difficult. Brushing our teeth, eating, let alone caring to eat properly. I know for me, I can become a shut-in. I can really self-isolate and almost become hermetic. But fortunately, many, many years ago, probably 12 years ago, I reached out to friends. I have so many amazing friends, and I always love when I can pay homage to my friends publicly because I am so blessed. But I reached out to them and said, I'm going through a difficult time, and one of my tendencies is to shut in, to close people out. And it's not because I don't love them, but it's because I feel like I'm burdening them. So I've asked them, if you don't hear from me for a long stretch of time, please reach out. I need you to pull me out. So that quality of depression is very obvious. But there are more subtle versions of depression. And this one feels like it's been lingering since my yoga closed. So that is what I think we closed at the end of June last year. And then I jumped right into creating my platform so that there would be a graceful transition for people and for me, because I was afraid of where I would end up, not having any social interaction. And even though it was one-dimensional, because it was video-based, at least I was able to see some of these individuals that I care deeply for, our yoga community. So these subtler aspects of depression, it's like an undercurrent of lethargy, sadness, grief. I know for me it feels like there's an ache, a wound that won't heal. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like the wound just keeps getting opened up again because, again, it wasn't properly tended to in the beginning. And so that is something that I know Jen, Willa, and I have spoken about, is doing our own rite, our own ceremony. You know, we've taught together for so long, 18 to 20 years, and such deep, important friendships were formed. And fortunately, we still have such love and respect and care for each other, and we're invested deeply. But when we lose something that brings us meaning or a sense of belonging, community, identity, and it wasn't a choice for it to be taken away, it leaves a bruise, it leaves a wound. And I know for me that the last month has been about, how do I pivot? How do I create something else? How do I focus on, the mentorship and the apprenticeship? How do I just, what can I, like, I've been spinning out. And what that has done is keep me distracted from the subtlety of this deep, deep pain that I'm feeling. And so when we encounter these states, and I would not doubt that many of us are, because the pandemic stripped us, many of us, to the bone. And as much as there is a beauty to that, because it means we are relinquishing the excess, or it's being stripped away from us, that means we can become, there's a term called a hollow bone. We can become conduits for soul, for divinity to communicate through us, act through us with much more ease and accessibility, because we're less congested, polluted, distorted. But the stripping away is, it's quite the process. It's truly a process of alchemizing. And so the stripping away removes parts of us and parts of who we thought we were, how we related in the world, all of that. And to be thinned out down to the core of who we really are, which I know it's a cliche, but it is love. It's not about what we do. It's about how loving we are with individuals, even people we don't know, but also with ourselves. And I'm really coming to realize that I'm a master at making sure everybody else's needs are met. Even though I am really great with boundaries and taking time for myself, I don't fully give myself the space to be in the pauses in between. Or I love the Tibetan concept of the Bardo, this place in between death and rebirth. And I am definitely there. And coming to Ottawa and being in this safe space has allowed me to really feel, I'm in the pause, I'm in the unknown. And rather than busying myself or feeling the obligation or responsibility or duty to produce the next something that will help others, that this is the next level of my personal mastery, which is sitting for as long as it takes in the pause and being present, being attentive, listening, witnessing, feeling, resting, praying, connecting, crying. So that this part of me can be respectfully met and transmuted, transformed, because there's wisdom that we gain from these painful experiences, these rites of passage that we go through, these initiations. And I really know that this is important work. It is so important. And because we don't speak about the value of these pauses and the depths that we can mine and the wisdom that we can access, we don't practice it. And so, my beloved friends, I pray for you, if you are in these states of some kind of a pain, emotional pain, please reach out to the right friends who are going to hold you lovingly, not try to fix you, but help be a guide so that you can find your light again. And those that will remind you to take the time you need, to not rush this, because this is a rebirth time. But the old has to die. So I truly hope this is giving you permission to lovingly be with whatever you're in right now. Blessings to you.